Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are here giving you guys again once more the US Task Force, and we're talking about Married at First Sight. Yes, we are dealing with Married at First Sight. Listen, the reunion was a bonanza. It was spectacular, it was amazing, and it was also heartbreaking all at the same time. You were up and then you were down. All right, I know Cardi B said when it's up is up, but this one, when it was up, it came down. So we got to experience a range of emotions on a reunion, and we want to discuss that with my great co-hosting team today. So I'm joined by Talisa, JacandGlen. I'm joined by August Love and Stephanie Lee. But I'm going to let them introduce themselves so you know where to find them and who they are. Talisa, since you're on my right first, if you could introduce yourself and let them know who you are and where they can find you.
Listen, I said too, how I get up here? How I get to be there? I am Talisa Ray. You can find me everywhere at Talisa Ray. Majority of the stuff is I am, but if you put in Talisa Ray, if you Google me, Talisa Ray, everything will show up. Social medias, website, everything. Hey, y'all.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Talisa. JacandGlen. Loving it.
Hi. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Yeah, I'm her husband, Glenn. Hey, you can find us on Instagram at Jack_Glen, at YouTube at JacandGlen, also on Twitter at Jack_Glen. I am excited about tonight because there's a lot to talk about. So, hey, let's get started. I feel like I'm on Hollywood Squares with all the boxers.
Love that. Love that. Stephanie Lee, go for it.
Hey guys, I'm Stephanie Lee. You can find me on my website at I'm Successfully Me, as well as I'm Successfully Me on Instagram and Successfully Me on YouTube. Excited for tonight.
Love it, love it. Last but definitely not least at all, we got August Love.
Hi, I'm Artika.
And I'm Tommy.
And we're all over the internet at August Love Story.
Beautiful stuff. Thank you very much. All right, guys, let's kick off the conversation. There is a lot to decipher, especially with one particular couple. I like to start strong this week. Yeah, let's start strong. Let's start with Chris. Should we start with Chris and Paige? Do you know what? Let's leave them. Do you know why? Because last time I learned my lesson. Last time people get tired a little towards the end, and we need to talk about the one that's going to energize people towards the end. So let's start off with the people that we, say Clara and Ryan. All right, I'm not sure what's going on there. Well, I know they said yes, and I think we all kind of knew they would say yes. Nothing's really changed, but there were some kind of little one or two things I think on the reunion that were a little bit some way. I think the way he was grabbing her the whole entire time, I was a little bit concerned. I was like, it feels a bit unnatural, but hey, that might be just his kind of thing. And we still don't know if they've actually had sex. They kind of dodged that kind of question. Apparently, it's more classy not to tell, but you've been on the show for the last 12 weeks. But anyway, so let me get your kind of viewpoints on Clara and Ryan. Stephanie Lee, go for it. Open us up.
So Clara and Ryan, for me, I mean, throughout the season, especially towards the end, I felt like there was a lot we weren't seeing from them. So they have something going on that we just were never a part of. So that still leads me to believe that there's like this major disconnect, not maybe for them, but definitely for us. It just didn't translate. And I still don't like when when you see a couple and they really vibe and they have such like a really beautiful or authentic chemistry. I still don't get that from them. That's why I'm saying I'm just going to chalk it up to they have something that we don't know about that they chose not to share. I thought that it was disingenuous and really like distasteful that he had to say I love you the first time, because Kevin Frazier, I mean, like, should we have had Kevin in our bedroom 12 weeks ago? Like, would that have happened quicker if Kevin lived with us? Like, I wouldn't even be happy about it. I mean, at this point, she's like taking what she can get. She's getting these crumbs and she really wants it. But like, if Kevin didn't really push, would he have said it? And I feel like maybe he did feel it before, but he should have already said that. And if he really was staying true to there's a love, because he even made a post on Instagram, like there's a part of our love that we're never going to show people and it's just ours. Okay, that's beautiful. But then you should have told her that alone and made it this sweet, beautiful thing, not really be pushed to the edge on the reunion show. So that's why for me, it's still like, I mean, I hear y'all, but I really don't feel y'all. And I guess I don't really have to, But in terms of like couples that really gave like a genuine chemistry, an organic type of dynamic, you know, congrats to them. But I still didn't kind of really see that from them.
Good points. Love that, Stephanie. Starting strong. Let me ask August, love to kind of chip in here. You know, I want to kind of piggyback off what Stephanie has also said as well, and quite rightly so. We didn't hear Ryan say "I love you" the whole entire series. We get to the reunion, he still ain't said it, right? Yeah, and bear in mind, I think the reunion is filmed a few months after as well, so he's had 6 months. In fact, Clara's time has expired. It's gone. And she said if he hasn't said it by then, say la vie, he should be gone. But they are still here. So my question I want to ask you guys is Clara conforming to the Ryan uniform? Has she fully conformed to the Ryan uniform?
Yeah, she has. She conformed at like during the show. Like she was all down for what he was actually trying to be private and stuff like that. I get it, you know, as far as like the private part, like, hey, you want to keep some parts private, but what I don't get is like, why come on a show like this, knowing that this is a very watched show. So like everybody watches this show, and you want to keep things out of it. That doesn't make sense to me. Him telling her for the first time that he loves her at the reunion. I'm with Stephanie as far as like, yeah, I wouldn't have accepted that. It would have made more sense for him to be kind of like did it like in private, and then they come on the show and be like, yeah, I told her I love her before. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, Clara has went all into this marriage and into what he says is what goes, you know, which, I mean, I'm a person that likes my lady to have some type of independence and to have some type of say so in what goes on in life. And if that's what she wants to, if she wants to say something or not be as private as I am, well, go for it. Do what you do, because I'm gonna still do what I do, you know, and you know, leave it at that. But I mean, that's not us, so I'm happy that they're still together and they seemingly are happy together. But and I do believe that they had sex. They just didn't want to openly say we had sex. So
he didn't want to openly say.
Yeah, and Clara wants to tell everybody, yes, this man laid it down for me.
No, I think that she's definitely conforming to him. It's just a matter of when she thinks people are around to hear, because every time that they've been together, it's been like a robot of exactly what Ryan has told her that they should say. And then when she got around the other girls was when we got to actually hear what Clara has to say. Now, she was very excited to tell them on this reunion when she got with all of the girls that, yeah, he told me he loved me. And it was just like, that was her badge of honor. Like, I got it. And she didn't explain how she got it, but she got it, and she's happy for her. I thought she was going to, like, burst into tears during the reunion when he said it, because she's just been waiting on Clara, I love you. And she got it the best way that she could, and, you know.
Thanks to Kevin. Shout out to Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin.
Good points. Good points. Love that. Thank you very much, team. Let me ask JacandGlen. Let me ask another question for you guys. Is it concerning then, you know, being in a marriage and your partner is almost being forced to say, "I love you"? Well, would that be an area of concern?
Well, traditionally, if it wasn't married at first sight, they probably never got married. If he had never said "I love you" beforehand, you know, I don't know too many women, you know, whether in the chat or on this panel, if your husband had never told you "I love you," were you gonna marry him? You know, it's not too many people are gonna do that. And so, because this was a reality TV show, you know, she wanted that love. But again, Clara's like, I don't want to use it. She's like that little puppy, because she said everybody loved her, so she was gonna follow Ryan around anyway, because it was forced together. He said, "I love you," and so she was gonna follow him because he didn't talk to her like other guys have talked to her. He didn't treat her like other guys have treated her. he allowed her to have some type of voice and move in. He could have never said I love you, and she would have been fine. She's not going anywhere. And you know, we talk about Chris being manipulative and controlling. Ryan got that secret manipulative and controlling spirit within him, where he does it on the low key, and she's just drinking the Kool-Aid. She's drinking it. She's drinking it up. Again, he has controlled and formed her. Remember, I think she was the one like, I'm not gonna lose myself. Well, she lost herself. She lost because she don't even talk as much like she used to, unless she's around the girls. So you can tell when she's around other girls, she's free. I think Tommy just said it. She's a little bit more freer. She's free. She can be clear around the girls, but when he's around, she's like. That's why when you saw the hand holding her, it was him making moves. Like when questions were asked, like, "Don't say nothing." Remember, if you go to the earliest episodes, she will always talk, and towards the end, she got less and less. She said less. Yeah, stuff that she said was meaningless.
I don't know, Coach. I think you put in perspective. Let's keep in mind that this reunion is not right after Decision Day, so we have gone several months, and he ain't said it. It's not like Decision Day was yesterday. Like, there's no way I would be planning a vow renewal or none of that. Without, like, no, for what? We renewing the vows. Are you gonna say it at the wedding? You know, no. And he just, again, his whole thing was, I don't want to take away from what the word love means. So, I mean, I'm like, Tommy, shout out to Kevin for bringing it out of him. Because really, like, and Dr. Viv said that, they said this to him already, aren't you doing the I love you actions? So why not say it? You know? And I just felt like, I don't know. I think Kevin pushed that because, look, if it was up to Ryan, if he said it or if he didn't say it, we wouldn't have known about it. He wouldn't have told us. That's the way he carried it. I'm not, you know, people in the chat are saying it. I said it too. If you want to be private, if you want to keep your stuff to yourself, especially when it comes to a marriage and relationship reality show, don't go on there. Yeah. Be private at your house.
But to ask the other question though, if he hadn't gone on a reality show, would he have been married?
No.
Probably the only way he could find somebody to stay in a relationship with him is by going on his reality show. Not too many women are gonna put up with that.
Yeah, they matched him up with the right one. He said with his Ryan brain, with the way his brain thinks. Yeah.
Appreciate that, JacandGlen. Appreciate it. Talisa, let me ask you another question in terms of Ryan and Clara. I know August Love alluded to the fact they potentially had sex. I actually still don't think they've had sex. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think they've had sex. I'm gonna be honest with you. So we have. So that's why I'm a little bit like. So no sex, no love words. We are back. It feels like we're back in the relationship that Clara had a few years ago, where she was in a relationship where there was no sex, no emotional connection, like she was just limbo. And I feel like she's back in that same place with Ryan. I know she said, you know, he shows me he loves me with these actions and stuff, but I still feel like there's something just missing, you know what I mean? And that whole we know we're keeping things to ourselves feels a bit like control to me, just a little bit. But I don't know, what was your kind of sentiment around the couple?
You know, you guys all said some really, really great things. It just had like my little feelers going off in my head. Like, but one of the things I want to say first and foremost is that this is a group of flip-floppers. Like they say one thing and then they get here and it's a whole nother thing. Starting with that, if he doesn't say I love you within 6 months, I'm out of here. Like, I feel like don't say things you don't mean, Clara. True. Like you do show all of this, you know, sass or sauciness that they keep talking about when you're away from him. But when you're with him, you go along with what he says, right? As it relates to like that whole, if they had sex, I think they did. And the reason is because they were too in sync with that all around the mulberry bush. Oh, we watched some TV. We sat down and watched some TV. We made some dinner. They did have some sort of intimacy. How great it was. It seems like she was happy with it. Just her energy in that moment said to me that they did have sex. However, I am with Stephanie on the fact that the whole season, even if I want to be private, if I'm into you, you can tell by my energy You can tell when I'm standing next to you. You can not know me and be like, oh, wow. Like, you know, especially when it's new relationship energy and we just got together and I'm really into you, it like radiates through your pores and everybody around you can tell and is infected by it. Even if we all like, oh, they just got together, we still are like, can see the beamingness of them. And so I don't know what they're renewing, right? I don't know what they're renewing. I don't know why they're renewing the vows, specifically since Kevin Messy Frazier, whom I love, had to pull it out. You know, he had to be like, do you love Clara? Like, he could have easily been like you guys said early on, I love her. I do love her. It was a hard time for me to share it. And then left it alone. We would have been fine with that. But that's not what he did. And then part of me feels like, was that like part of the producer saying, say this, you know, you got to have that one good surprise moment. And since you guys made it, you can be like how Woody and Amani came out with the ring. Will you marry me? This is our, you know, so maybe we just wait. If you did say it because we asked you and you did, let's just wait and pretend like you didn't. So, I mean, there's that, you know, you're always like, oh, is this real or is this staged? I mean, I've been on a couple TV shows and they do ask you not to say certain things and to say certain things. So I don't know. But, you know, they're going to renew their vows and spend money that's unnecessary. Just buy me a ring and let's have a party or whatever. Like, can we take that money and put it into the house because it's falling apart? Like, I don't know. So that's just my thoughts on it. Like, I'm not sure how long this is going to last. And are they connected outside of what we see? And then I thought to myself a little bit, so from what we hear, they're not going to be on couples cam. So maybe, is this going to be like a spinoff? Is Lifetime paying for the Ryan and Clara renewal of vows? Like, probably not. But I mean, that's where my mind went. Like, maybe, like, who's going to pass up extra money? I'm not. Like, I don't know.
Very, very true. Very, very true. Okay, no, you made some good points. Made some good points as well. I hear that. Let's move on to another couple then. We have Jacob and we have Hailey. Hailey came out and said the sex was bad. Now, you know, we've been saying it all season. That something wasn't seasoned when she got to that stage, and she confirmed that, you know, it was without seasoning the physical interaction. So I mean, obviously we knew they were gonna. Well, we kind of knew they were gonna kind of say no. But you know, Hailey to come out with those particular truths. I don't know if she had to do that, but you know, she did, and thank God, because we now know that the truth. But poor Jacob. So let me go to JacandGlen, because I know we discussed this about that particular that something had happened as to why this, you know, it's not going down. Talk to us about this particular episode with Hailey.
I want to say that we kind of mentioned that Hailey and Chris are like in the same space. Chris is just a little bit more rude and nasty with it. But Hailey said the same thing as Chris. I wasn't physically attracted to him. I thought if I had sex with him, it would help, and it didn't. It's the same thing. And I was like, wow, she, you know what I'm saying? She said the same thing. I was like, oh, wow, okay. Yeah, but I was like, when Jacob find that out, he's not gonna be happy at all. I was like, why she say that? Oh my god! But you know what? She didn't. I mean, if it's the truth, it's the truth. But
she didn't have to do that though. I mean, y'all be saying it all year. She's like that school girl, the mean girl. You ever break up with a girl and then she want to talk about you afterwards? And that's what Hailey seemed like to me. You know, you gave it to him. Matter of fact, if you look at it, he didn't ask for it. She was the one who initiated it. She was the one that wanted sex, and she said,
"I think I was drunk. Might as well go for it. We married. Might as well go for it."
She was drunk, so how does she know whether it was really good or not anyway? You know what I'm saying? And so, which leads me to goes to you, Coach. There was multiple times she done tried. It wasn't just the time in Vegas, right? Everybody thinks it was just that one time. I think there was multiple times, and she kept trying and just realized, you know what, she gave up. Jacob ain't where it's at. You know, the meat and egg diet ain't helping you out, son. So, you know what I'm saying? That diet, you need to change your diet up.
Coming out your pores.
But again, she didn't have to say that around the girl. She didn't have to say it on national television that this dude is not good in the sack. Again, we don't know what she likes or what he tried or whatever case may be. If he was drunk or not, but she had to.
It might have been her fault. Okay,
it might have been her fault. You know, it might have been her fault. So she didn't have to. No, she didn't have to put him out there like that, but she did, and I'm just waiting for it. I'm interested to see what Jacob say next time.
Oh, it's gonna be messy. I'm telling you, Jacob is here for it. He's gonna, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, good points there as well. Yeah, I understand. Jacob's petty, so we expect a reply. So he is petty, so we expect a reply. Stephanie, let me go to you. What was your thoughts about Hailey? You know, what was your thoughts? Mean girl, bit like Chris, or you know, it's just one of those things, is it?
Okay. Before I get started, for those who don't know, you guys already know this is my husband, so I wanted him to jump on with me and chat. We watch the show and yell at the TV together every Wednesday night. So
everybody.
I am so sick of them. I don't like Hailey. I never really cared for Jacob. Like, everybody kind of gave Jacob this pass because Hailey was so, like, outrightly mean girl, or wasn't really making the attempt. But Jacob is really petty. And I think that's why she, you know, made, well, she didn't really say much, but you can tell she, like, threw him under the bus with the sex being bad. I feel like you didn't have to do that. Like, there's not one part of her that felt like, you know what, let me just be the bigger person. You know, for her to be like, I learned so much about myself throughout this season. And every time, you know, he was like, I didn't learn anything. She'd be like, he doesn't learn anything throughout this season. Like, it was just this air of like, I'm better than. You did not just display that. She really didn't have to go there. And I felt like when I watched that, I was like, you didn't have to do that. We already knew, girl. You didn't have to confirm, because if he laid it down, then she would have been completely different. Or they would have tried. She would have tried. So I just felt like that was like in poor taste. And I feel like if he's petty, let him be petty, because that game just makes you look worse. It's like, who can look worse? And it's this game where everybody loses. So I didn't care for that. But I can't. I'm over both of them. What do you think?
Hey, loud and clear.
I just want to go on the record and say that I told y'all. I brought it up about the poor pickle play, and it comes out that the steak and potatoes, the steak and eggs, or whatever did not make it happen. But in his defense, I did bring that up. I knew it was bad, but I will say this: in his defense, every single man on this planet has had a bad night.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't know if they've had more nights, especially it's the first night, especially if you got the whiskey.
We monetize the child.
If you've been under the influence of alcohol, some things don't work in the right departments if you had a little too much. So I want to say, Jacob, it may be better if she would have gave him a couple more tries. But we don't know. Like he said, they could have had more tries and it just didn't work out. And I really don't have anything else to mention except for that part, because I hopped on here specifically at the right time to talk about that, because we all knew it. But I do think if there were other attractions, I do think they could have worked that out, because the first time is not always the best time. Most times it's not the best time. Yeah. So
yeah,
I hear that. Real spit, real talk. Love that. Thank you very much, Captain. Talisa, let me go to you. Jacob and Hailey. No question this time, just a
Oh yeah, that's all we need is a because listen, it wasn't poor taste, but I'm gonna just be honest with you. I was here for it. I'm excited about Jacob's pettiness. Listen, I'm here for the fact that she just called it garbage, that it was trash. Like, I didn't like the way he looked. He didn't have a great conversation, and so I tried to have sex with him, and guess what? It was garbage too. Now, I'm all here for all the pettiness, but in reality, like Ed said, we have bad days. specifically men have more bad days than women. Okay,
that's wrong.
So listen, y'all can look at me how you want to. Okay, because when we ready, we ready.
That's the truth.
So, but you have to give people some grace, right? I mean, the first time you ever were intimate with your spouse, if you have one, hi spouse, like no, yeah, right. You have to first get like, you have to connect, right? And the thing though about, let's say the three couples here, is the fact that you guys built a relationship. And so for me, I always think that sexual intimacy is more mental than physical. So if I'm attracted to you mentally, if you have me there, then the rest of it is easy. And so since she wasn't attracted to him, he didn't have great conversation. He didn't have, he wasn't stimulating to her aesthetically. I think that it was going to be a fail anyway, no matter how much alcohol you had. I don't like drunk sex because you don't really know what's happening. It's sloppy and just like, and that's what it felt like to me. Like they had that sloppy, uncoordinated first time sex, and that was not fair to him. She should have given him another opportunity, but there were so many other things working against him that she was just not, I'm not here for you with your 80s outfit and your old self and your horrible dressing. Like she didn't want to give him a chance at all. So there's that, but I'm here for it. Okay. I can't wait to see Jacob be petty. I know, Stephanie, you like, no, I don't think, no, come on with the pettiness. Let me see. Like,
I hear you loud and clear. Come on with the pettiness. August Louvre, talk to me, baby.
I agree with Talisa. I'm here for the petty. I mean, we're watching TV. I need to be entertained. I don't really care about y'all's feelings. This is about me. I need the entertainment value of it all. But I think that Hailey probably should have just not commented on it at all. That would have been the appropriate thing to do. But I mean, she did what she did. Don't let you have it. I'm gonna step out.
Shit, I don't know. Jacob and Hailey, man. I mean, like I'm looking forward to it. They're entertaining, to say the least. I think it was kind of messed up that she put that man out, but we knew that. Like we knew that from the jump. It was like, man, he had a bad night. He had an off night. I mean, you can't really say anything about it, I just feel like I don't know what else he could have done to change the situation. I don't know what else she could have done to change the situation other than looking inside to figure out what she's doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I look forward to them talking to each other because like I'm curious to see like what happened after the show. Because for him to block her on everything and them not to talk, I'm pretty sure they have some nice things that they want to say to each other. So, I'm curious to see what happens next, man. So I can't wait till Wednesday.
Tika, do you want to add anything? I think Hailey said it all for us. No worries. Cool. Appreciate it. We'll move on to our third couple. We had obviously Eric and Virginia. Obviously on the reunion, there was an added party involved on that reunion, which I did not understand. It felt very handler vibes. What I mean by that is like someone's, like someone's controlling externally. That's what it felt like. I didn't understand why the mother was on the show. It's the first time ever, and I was like, but for what? Like, we haven't seen her all season, and suddenly she reappears at the very end at the reunion. So I was a little bit confused by that, but I saw some movement from Eric as well. His body language shifted when his mom came. I said, now I see what's going on here. But what was your guys' thoughts around Eric and Virginia? I think Virginia shifted her position about the kids situation. She shifted some about the house situation now. She's in a condo. Yeah, it seems a lot of things have changed for them. Let me go to Stephanie Lee first, get you guys' opinions on Eric and Virginia.
Eric and Virginia, I still... I still struggle with seeing longevity for them I feel like they just made it to decision day. I feel like even him getting on one knee was like a Hail Mary, like, please don't say no. Because she's like a wild card. And I mean, there has to be one thing that surprised me was when she said, you know, I don't even go out that much, and he confirmed it. Like, so during the season, the whole thing was that she was this wild child, this party girl, and now it's like I don't even go out that much. So I don't know, like if something's changed, maybe they could work it out. You know, once again, it's one of these things that, like, what are we watching? Like, you guys, this season, they really came on TV and just told us a bunch of BS and then did something completely different. And so now we're in more than we normally have to. And so I don't know. I don't know why his mom was on there. I thought that was like the most pointless thing. Mom looks sweet, but she's like not vastly entertaining or something that would have made sense for her to be on there, or she didn't come out and say, I'm going to be a grandma. Like, I don't know why she was on there. There wasn't drama between the two of them. Like, let's say they had drama all season. There was none of that. So I don't understand why she was on there. She didn't bother me, but she didn't really add anything to it. But Eric and Virginia, once again, I really don't know about them. I'm not sold on them. I mean, I ideally want everyone to find what they came for, if they're here for genuine reasons. Because I love love. I'm excited for that when it works out. But I just can't. This season, it's hard to, you know.
I think your sound went in a little bit.
Can't hear us?
Okay. Yeah. So that's it. What did you?
Okay, they can hear us. Actually, maybe I like to agree with you, but I don't agree with you on this one. We see it a little differently. I think that if they get couples therapy, I think they can work. And this is why. I think that her whole going out wasn't really about the going out. I really think she was just missing the male figures in her life. And these men, her male friends, were serving as that role. And I think she has a hard time trusting men because of her dad. And she found some guys that she trusted. And now I think Eric is slowly taking into that role. And if he can get that role, then I think she will naturally want to gravitate to him more. I do think it'll be tough for the first 5 years, which it is for most couples. But if they can get therapy and have some type of mediation in between the two of them and work on their inner issues, I do think that they will. Even his mom was like, he was tight. Like, if your mom is saying you're tight and need somebody to loosen you up, you definitely need that. And I think if they can mesh and he get a little bit of her and she get a little bit of him, I think they can work. But I don't think that will happen without some type of mediator in between. So I think they can work long term. They look like that couple that could be in their 70s. Like, you remember when I could see that, but they have to grow within the next 3 or 4 years.
Well, that was always my projection for them at the beginning, but I felt like I was piecing together like a Virginia that was like 5 years older, more settled, ready, and an Eric. And I was like, I still haven't seen that. So based on what I'm saying, but I can see what you're saying. If what we're not really seeing is what's actually happening, and she's maybe not the way that she was portrayed, and he's a little bit more flexible, and they can meet in the middle because they still have like politics and children. And there was one other thing that they were like completely opposite on. They can figure that out, then maybe.
Yeah. To put it simple, I don't think she was going out. I think she was going away. I think she was going away from being alone. Even when she talks about being home alone when you're gone, she was trying to escape being present within herself and filling that void. So I think if she can replace that, then I think she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Good points. Not going out, going away. Like it. Talisa, talk to us, man. Eric and Virginia, gonna make it, toxic, good, bad. What was your thoughts about them in a reunion?
Well, first off, I just want to be like, okay, come through, Ed, with the other side of like, made me have to think a second. Maybe that is a thing for her. However, I don't think they're gonna work. I don't think that they're gonna make it to 5 years, right? I don't like them together. I think that they're still mismatched. But if they work, that's great. If they get counseling, great. The one thing that stuck out to me that I was really proud of Eric about was that he said, I saw myself on the show, that it was a mirror for me, and that I'm working on my stuff, you know? So for me, that was huge. Anybody who can see themselves and reflect and be like, oh, is that what I look like? Am I controlling? For me, I thought that that was a very positive, pivotal moment for him in particular. Whereas Virginia, I just really wanted her to own up some of the childish things that she was saying. Just some of the things where she just, you know, just the, I want to be able to fall out on my friend's couch. I mean, I understand that it's safety, like just own up to maybe that wasn't the best thing to say. And then, like I said, the whole flip-flop, they're all flip-floppers, because except for Eric, he was the one to be like, yeah, I'm gonna work on this. But she was, I like the condo. If we keep making adjustments to the condo, you know, I'm not gonna want to leave. Like, I just really want her to be stable. Like, really seek some help for herself so that she can be stable in what she wants, and really understands, because she is a wild card. But the reason she's a wild card is because she doesn't understand who she is. So if she could get some help, and he really does reflective work, then maybe in 5 years they will still be together. Maybe, you know, they can come together and meld and have, some beautiful love story. We met on Married at First Sight, and here we are 50 years later. Maybe. I mean, I'm not going to cross my eyes, fingers, or toes, but, you know, maybe. I do like that the mom said, he's more relaxed now. He did seem a lot all the time uptight, but I did like that the mom, even though he still seems uptight to me, the mom sees that he's changing. So that's big, because, you know, people who know you, but they think they know you even after you didn't change, but nevertheless, they get to see, oh, I see she's affecting you in a positive way. And I don't understand why she was there, except for maybe just the facial expressions she had made with her friend or auntie or sister, whoever that was, when she said that she didn't want to have, she was 50-50 on kids. But, you know, doves make faces for the wrong reasons. They don't do like we do. Our faces go with what we say. Their faces is just because sometimes they're sour. So, okay, I'm done.
I hear you, Talisa. I hear you. I'm hearing you loud and clear. All right, August Live. Let me talk to you quick, man. What you saying?
Talking about Eric and Virginia.
Yes, Eric. Somebody got lost about who we was talking about.
So good.
Eric and Virginia, I thought they were lying when they were sitting up there. I don't like them as a couple, because I feel like he trapped her to say yes when they at the decision day, and it's just kind of like she's going along with it because she don't want to get a divorce now, you know.
With all these people watching.
Right. That's what I mean. I hope that they live to be married for 50, 60, 80, 100 years, you know, because I believe in love, and I hope that they, you know, love and all that great things and have a great marriage. But I just feel like a lot of things were forced, and they was like having to defend everything that they did on the show tells me that, hey man, everything ain't all peaches and cream with them, and somebody's lying. And so that's the way I felt about Eric and Virginia. I think his mom coming out, it was pointless, but they just wanted to kind of just really kind of say, hey, this relationship between Virginia and his mom is good, just because, you know, it's not that she don't want to have babies. It's just, you know, it's she wants to have babies if her husband wants to have babies, which I don't personally know a man that don't want to have a child of some sort that's married, you know. Personally, I don't know, but I know there are people out there that don't want to have children. But that being the case with Eric, is, you know, he wants to have children, and that's why I think the mom was brought out there to kind of like tell everybody, hey, we're doing okay, we're good. But other than that, that was a pointless conversation to have with the mom. So
I think that Virginia and Chris sat down with the same person in the public relations department and came up with a list of talking points that we could say, hey, I know that this happened, but let me tell you guys, that's not what it really is. I don't drink that much. I don't go out that much. what else did she say? She went through this whole list of things. It wasn't the right thing to call him controlling. Like that was just, it was a poor word choice. And it's like, you gave us a list of public relations talking points from the parts of the season that you've seen, and you just made sure that you hit all those. It's almost like she sat down, watched the episode, and was like, nope, gonna retract that. Nope, gonna retract that. Retracting that one too. So she just went through and she retracted everything that made her and her husband look bad. Because as we've seen with Eric, he likes to appear a certain way, even though he's going against everything that he has said, quote unquote, because he is a manipulator, even though he said he wasn't trying to manipulate her, because manipulation at its finest was, if you don't do this, I'm gone. If you don't do this, I'm out. If this can't happen, I'm out. So it's just like, it was a lot of that being fixed in their talking points. So I don't know that anything has actually changed in their relationship outside of they can verbally say things to us now instead of us watching some 6-8 months in the past from last year. That's pretty much it. Hopefully they can, figure out what's going on with their own lives and make it better for the two of them so they want to be together. And also get to the root of, is he actually allergic to cats? Because that's something I want to know. Like, are you really allergic to cats, or do you just not like cats? Because it's okay either way, but just tell the truth. We can't hear you, Kojo.
I muted myself. I was like, good points on the media. I was like saying good points that you guys made about the media training and stuff. It was really, I did feel like there was some media training that was going on amongst the cast. I think that's what it felt like. Everybody was given. It's almost as if someone told them, this is what the audience are going to feel like when they watch this show. So address all the points and go completely against it. But it was really poor media training, because if you completely negate what we saw, you're basically saying that we're crazy and we didn't see what we just saw on the screen. You know what I mean? And you're actually saying that the production are really messy for lying to us because they showed us things that truly didn't really happen. You know what I mean? So I don't know. What was your thoughts, JacandGlen?
I want to say this to your point. When court cases take place and a witness gets up and they say one thing, and then they come back and recant it, the jury's like, we don't know which one is the truth. Was it this one or that one? It makes you look more, your credibility is more in question when you say two different stories. So their credibility is shoddy. I honestly feel like the mom was on there, kind of like what Tommy said. The mom was on there to kind of bring credibility to the relationship, to kind of be like, oh, they're good. It's this, because they know coming into there, all of us are like, I don't know about them. And the mom kind of tried to pat it up. I've seen some, Eric's changed. Virginia's been so good for him. And, yada, yada, yada. I was going through this thing in my life, we have like a near-death experience. And, I'm not trying to force the grandkids on them to kind of lead Virginia to, well, yeah. I mean, I could do kids, I could do that. So I think the mom was kind of used as a pawn to kind of direct that kind of stuff and lead that stuff in. But I feel like Talisa, and it might have been rehearsed or whatever, but I do feel like it was good to hear Eric say, and anybody, when they see themselves on TV and they see how they look, to be like, ooh, I don't like that I looked like that. I didn't even realize that it looked like that. Because sometimes we do things that somebody could tell us that's close to us, you kind of mean, or, you kind of snippy, and then have somebody that doesn't know you to be like, yeah, you kind of rude, So I think once he started seeing what people said and he looked at it himself, he's like, oh, I could see how you would get that. And I need to fix that. But yeah, Virginia's full of crap. I talked about going out more than I actually go out, you know? Yeah, okay.
One thing I want to say this.
He got you on a leash.
You used the thing with the analogy of the jury. It's not hearsay. We all saw it. We all saw her going out. So it can't be hearsay, right? Unless she goes to AA now and fix that issue. And I know it's been months past. You know, Eric has gotten her to what he wants, right? The way she wants to be at. He's conforming that. The thing I wanted to say, somebody put in the chat, they hadn't watched the shows. They had watched the shows because prior to the reunion, they've all sat down with Jamie Otis, has been on Unfiltered. So they have watched the shows leading up to the reunion day. So they have all seen where they're at. They haven't watched them live on TV, but they've seen them leading up to what we see because they had to film Unfiltered before the shows aired. So they've seen that. The mom was out there. This is what they try to get us as TV land. Some people don't never think all the way back to the beginning when mom wasn't cool with Eric being married in the first place on a reality show. So again, they were trying to give him the credibility that it did work out. We all know what type of mom she is, right? You ever see those movies where their mom is controlling and the mom wants the family to be one type of way or wanted to be this way and this is the way it has to be? If you look at her talk, she talks about his brother and the way things were. So there's a comparison there in the family. Even if you look at Eric, when he talked, he wanted to be like his dad. He wanted to be, this is what the family does. This is how things go. So his mom is like, okay, dress right, dress. If you even look at how Virginia has been dressing lately, it's been more conservative. So whether she's drinking that type of Kool-Aid in the family or not, which I believe she is, she's changing who she is based on who she's married to. For the PR purpose, she had the condo is good. She was saying no because she didn't want to leave. She thought she was going to lose part of herself. But then she realized I'm saving money. He's paying the condo bill. I get to keep most of my paycheck in there. And I get to bring my cats because he gave in to the cats.
Yeah.
All right. Because that was a big no for him. He gave in to the cats. So she got her room for the cats on the condo. He said he was going to sell his condo down the road. So she got that. She got a win there too. So she got some wins. She didn't take too many L's in this, but she got some W's. So we have her doing that. And again, she's lying. She's still hanging out with her boys. Remember, Eric flies. He just don't see it because she hangs out with them when he's flying. How would he know she slept on the couch or not, right? Her boy's couch. He would know he's gone. He's like in another city. So she still does that. She still hangs out. I think she still drinks because if you go to her Instagram, you still see her hanging out with her girls, partying and drinking. Not saying she do it on a regular basis, but it's something that you telling me one thing, but you still do it. I know it's months after the fact. Now, she might not do it as much because I agree with Edwin on this. She doesn't like to be alone.
Yes.
That's the biggest issue. She doesn't like to be alone. So she has somebody now, which is all the animals in the condo, which to me, that's each his own. Just all those type of animals, cats, dogs, and all that, all in one condo. Yeah, I'm glad we don't have smell-o-vision.
That's why I don't see how on the cats, the questioning his allergy, and he on the reunion, he says, "Oh, you haven't seen it because I avoid them." It ain't that much avoiding you gonna do in that condo from cats, whatever.
And the last thing I want to make up is her PR is because they're on Couples Cam. I can't give you everything on a reunion. I gotta save some stuff for Couples Cam, so you will see some of the issues I have. So I can't give you everything now. But by this time, they knew they was gonna be on Couples Cam when the reunion was shared. So I can't give you everything. Y'all have to watch and see.
Interesting point. Yeah, I forgot about the couples cam thing as well. So that's gonna be interesting. I don't know if I'll be tuning into that, but it'll be interesting. I'm sure somebody will let us know when the episode gets spicy. So we'll wait for that. But yeah, good points. Good points about that as well. Especially in regards to the fact that the timings and stuff as well, because obviously the timings are quite I think that's what makes it difficult. I wasn't sure exactly when they filmed the reunion. I think someone's put it in the chat as well about they filmed earlier in the year and stuff. So, but they definitely did see some of the episodes enough. And again, it's the fact that they were so specific with each of the points. Like, it was Eric and Virginia were doing it. Even Bree and Vincent did it, picking up on very specific points that all of us audience have spoke about time and time again. And that's when I said, somebody got a hold of you and said, listen, guys, sort out these issues. All right, just don't say anything bad about these issues. say it's all well. And yeah, so yeah, I think that was with Eric and Virginia specific as well. We'll see what happens with them, whether they'll have kids. Who knows? Probably have more kittens before they have kids. So yeah, let's talk about obviously Bree and Vincent. Bree and Vincent were, I mean, apparently Vincent said he was not bothered with Bree's bossiness at all season. Apparently, suddenly all of the last 12 weeks we just watched, he wasn't bothered. He wasn't bothered at all. No, not when he told her she was being too bossy when he wanted that different house that wasn't a condo. No, she wasn't bossy then. Yeah, she wasn't there apparently. Not when you decided to flip on her with the champagne. You wasn't feeling anything. No, we didn't see that. That didn't happen. That's something that never happened on the screens. What was our thoughts on Bree and Vincent? Talisa, talk to us, man. Bree and Vincent. Bree's not bossy apparently, but then Bree admitted right after him that she is bossy, and then I don't know what happened there. But what was your thoughts on Bree and Vincent?
I really feel like that they want to stay together, and so we're gonna just say things that will make sense to seem like we're making progress to having a healthy, successful relationship, right? One thing I want to say is like when he said that, oh no, I didn't see it that way. All I could remember is him just before this episode before. Granted, they didn't watch that episode, but he said it out of his mouth that she was assertive and direct. And also, what was that? The episode before that he said, when you said that, I specifically told the experts that is not what I wanted. That they gave me someone with the attitude that I did not want. And so I get that you are adjusting, right? But say what you mean. Say this isn't what I want, but I'm adjusting. She's actually saying a few seconds later, she said, you know what, I realize I can't have my way with everything, that I have to, make adjustments, compromise, one of my favorite C's, like you have to compromise in a marriage, and I can't have things such a specific way. Like that for me would have made it seem more believable versus the whole flip-flop thing, like the floundering. And like you guys said, whoever the PR person is not really doing a great job, because we all have seen each of these relationships for the last 12 weeks. We already know that he doesn't like someone bossy, that she is a bit direct, because I don't want to call her bossy. And I also like the fact that she mentioned, I have to learn how to separate who I am at work and who I am at home, to be softer at home. Like I'm an engineer, so I have to be a boss. I have to boss up. And I don't know, I'm a Black woman. We Black women, we have very demanding jobs, all of us, I'm sure, even if it's just being a parent. But I think we all have very demanding jobs. When you walk in the door from work, I know I want to be able, when my husband was living, I wanted to be able to come home and be soft and feminine and not be in control, I wanted to just let everything go and be like, yay, I'm home and I don't have to be a boss because he's in control. Like I wanted that because it's, I was single for so long before then. So for me, it was important to be able to shed the masculine side of me, the side that people at work might have saw as bossy or aggressive. So I like the fact that she's saying that she's learning how to do that, and that there needs to be a division between that. I think they'll work. I think that they are really trying to work. I really think that they're trying hard, even though he's got all those issues. Now, I'm going to give him some grace for the fact that he said that, the reason he seemed sensitive and the reason that he was, he has showed a bit of a temper is because of the fact that millions of people were watching, and he wanted everything to be so as such, and look at Kojo. Kojo's like, yeah, no, Talisa, but I'm going to give him a little grace. I'm going to give him maybe not a lot, but enough grace to say that could have made it seem more exorbitant than it was, right? Like those are issues that he has, but because I'm on TV and I have to look a certain way, my folks is watching. I mean, I'll be walking down the street and people gonna see me, so I want things to be a certain way, and he didn't know how to navigate that kind of space. Okay, so I'm finished. There we have it.
Appreciate it, Lisa. Appreciate it, Lisa. August Love, talk to us, man. Vincent and Bree.
So, one of the things you guys mentioned is that You know that they're watching us, but it's not just us that they're watching. Not Vincent and Bree specifically, but Jacob is actually in a Married at First Sight group on Facebook and interacting with people like in real time right now, like going back and forth with people talking about their relationship. So they're reading, they're watching these videos, they're digesting everything. And I think that's one of the things that Vincent has done is he sat back and he's looked at how he looked on TV, and he found a way to articulate his feelings in some way of making it make sense why he acted the way that he acted. So I guess essentially saying that, you know, hey, I was acting this way because I did not want to appear this way, and then it still came across the wrong way from what I was actually feeling. So let me explain myself. And that's what he did when he sat down. I do think that Brianna has a fine line to ride with being a boss at work and being a wife at home. I remember the job that I had a few years ago. I was an operations manager and I had over 100 employees. Actually, I had over 150 employees. And I remember at one time I came home from work and Tommy was like, I don't like the way that you act when you come home from work. Like, you're mean. And I wish, like, if I'm going to have to keep living with this person, then you're going to have to do something differently with this job because you're mean when you come home and I don't like it. So I had to take a step back with my job and figure out a way to not just delegate the task at work, but allow myself to have some time away from work. Because I was a person who was working 8 to 5 and then I was on call 5 to 8. So I was 24/7 at work. I would get woken up out of my sleep to work. So I don't know if Brianna's job is that demanding as an engineer. I would imagine that it's not super demanding, but again, I don't really know exactly what field or what area of engineering she's in, if her people are working around the clock or what. So it can be demanding, and then you come home and you don't know how to turn that off. So that's something that she's just going to have to work on. And I mean, it's difficult, but you have to figure out that balance. And I don't think that you're going to figure out that balance in 8 weeks, 9 weeks of being married to a person, not even at the 6-month mark. Like, it's difficult because she's been doing that a lot longer than she has been with Vincent. So it's a delicate balance and you have to kind of try to figure it out.
My turn.
Yes, go ahead.
What you said. Now, I think I'm gonna kind of focus on Vincent a little bit more. I think Vincent realizing how he looks on TV, I think is a big help. It makes sense. That's what it was to me. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because he was saying that his anxiety. He knew that so many people were looking at him when he was on TV, so that's why he was so nervous. I still think it's some stuff that he needs to work through, because I mean, like, you signed up knowing that people were gonna, like, that's the thing. It's like, don't sign up for things that you don't think you can be honestly genuine yourself. Don't sign up for things that you think is gonna put you in a bad light, because I mean, people look at we all look at reality TV and be like, we've all heard somebody say, well, that's not how it really went, or that's not really how I am, or something like that. But as my old coach used to say, the big eye in the sky don't lie. So we sitting here looking at what you presented, and no matter how they cut something or edited something here or there, it happened. You said it, you did it, it happened. It is what it is. But just kind of for him, because it works for me. Like, when we're doing stuff and, you know, doing our videos and everything like that, and we go back and look at it, we're always trying to improve it. You know what I'm saying? But with him, we recorded this last year, and now we're going back and looking at it. Okay, these are things that I should have did going forward. I know I can change this. I know I can work on this. I know I can work on that. So hopefully he does work on his anxiety. He has a therapist and everything like that, and I hope it helps him in his marriage, because I think they genuinely want to be together. I think I saw a little compromising, or Brianna starting to understand what compromise means a little bit from their conversation on the reunion. So I think that was positive. But overall, I always thought that they was going to say yes and be a great couple together. So I'm curious to see where they go as well. So
Yeah, I'm hearing you on that. I love the fact you gave different points on Vincent and Brie as well. They both got stuff to work on. I think Vincent's got some stuff to work on as well. I think he's got to work on some stuff, and I'm glad that to be honest, if anybody was more authentic, it probably was Brie and Vincent, because they both did admit to certain things that they're trying to work on. I think Vincent is a people pleaser, and that as much as the anxiety, the people pleasing is on an ultimate high. His people pleasing is like at the extreme level. There's levels to this, and I think he takes it to the maximum. Because like the whole denying that Bree's bossy is another way of being people pleasing, when he's like, you don't want the person to feel out of pocket or feel bad, so you kind of cover them. And it's like, bro, there was nothing to cover, bro. She came out after and said, yeah, I am bossy. I'm trying to work on it. It's like, do you know what I mean? And you're right. I think anxiety did play a part in his actions, but I think that speaks more to the fact that that's how you deal with stress. It's the TV's only going to show you how you actually deal with stress. This is how he deals with stress. He shuts down. He breaks down. He goes into little fits. That is what Bree's going to expect in that marriage. So he needs to work on it ASAP Rocky. It's not just TV. It's how you deal with stress. And there's so much more stress coming in life. You're going to have kids. You had your niece for a short while and you were complaining. You're going to have kids of your own very soon. What are you going to do then when you're stressed? Yeah, what are you gonna do when the relationship is not at its premium? It's not at its best. How are you gonna do that stress then? There's so many more stresses that are gonna come his way. Listen, this was a good test. Now we know how you act under stress. He's gonna have to kind of work on that, I think, a little bit as well. But let me go to I love that Stephanie's here with the baby too. I love it. We got some newbies to the team, guys. So
Tommy and I over here saying like the kids don't go away, and then we look over and Stephanie has her baby. I'm like, they're always here. They're just coming in and out. And you're like, about a niece? No, they don't go away.
It's part of the job, man. No problem at all. I don't mind them.
Absolutely, because the 25-year-old keeps peeking his head out because he wants to say something. They never go away, ever.
25. If I was in my mama's house, I would at 34.
Life is easy that way. Stephanie, I don't know if you want to add on to Vinny and Bree.
Okay, so everybody, this is Cinco. He's actually named Ed, but he's the fifth, so we call him Cinco because Edmund is a heavy name. He needs a mortgage and some responsibilities before we get there. Okay, I agree with everybody. I think I'm frustrated watching this reunion. He is too, and this is the first season that it has felt the least like authentic. Like they are doing so much like busy work to like retell the story. We've already seen it. So when you're sitting here saying that you're no longer this or this doesn't bother you, I mean, you're literally like trying your fans, people who are actually interested in this story and interested in this show. And it's frustrating because now you have to watch it from a perspective of, I can't trust anything that I'm seeing. We already are given limited information. And so we have to go based on that. But also it's like, now it's like, you guys are coming back, a couple months, 6 weeks later and saying, well, that's not what I meant. Or no, you've already shown yourself to be who you were, and that's fine. And if I respect Eric saying, I saw some things in myself that I didn't like. Just say that and be honest about who you are, because we've already seen it. And I don't have to kind of say the same things all about Vince. I mean, Vince has a lot to work on. Brianna has stuff to work on too. But, I think they had them produced as the bossy one or the temperamental one or whatever. They have seen themselves. They have read about themselves. They've watched us. And now they're kind of trying to change the narrative. And it's already composed because it's reality TV. So the best thing they can do is actually learn from the process and do better. Because after they're off TV, we're not really checking for y'all like that. Like, we have moved on to the next group of individuals, and you now have to live with the choices that you have made. So that's kind of where I'm at with them.
I'll say this about Vince, and one of the big desires of humans, one of the major four is to look good. That's why a lot of people don't like public speaking. That's why they don't raise their hands in class. Vince has a big issue with that. And even in his correcting, where he tried to be authentic, it actually is inauthentic because his correction was another form of looking good by saying, oh, I didn't feel that way. I didn't think that way. And it's okay if you felt that way, but be honest and authentic about it. But what's really happening is the emotional intelligence that he has is not deep enough, because we just celebrate our 4-year anniversary. And one thing I would say every year that I've learned how to listen better. And what I mean by that is not necessarily listening to the words that my wife says. What happened with Vince was he was not even talking about her bossiness when he started talking about it. What he was doing, he was hurt. So when he's hurt people hurt people. So he wanted to find a way to try to hurt her or tit for tat the relationship or the conversation. And if he would have came out authentically and said, you know what, my feeling, I was butthurt and I tried to throw a jab, which is one of the rules that we don't do, is throwing jabs and belittling, trying to intentionally hurt because you feel bad. So if he doesn't rectify that, it will happen again in a marriage. No doubt. It's going to happen again. And he's going to be focusing on the surface of looking good and then supplying that with another way of looking good versus just saying, you know what, you're right, or that hurt, and accept that. So I think if he can learn how to be more authentic, then I think that they'll have a better way of communicating. And so I really didn't, when I saw that, I really despised that. But that's pretty much it for them. But I will say this, something was said a little bit ago about guys, having the tough nights and women just being ready. Let me tell you something. A lot of women think they're ready, but it's not ready. All right. There's no arch in the back. There's dryness. There's no, their love making to certain body parts where you should be freaking that thing a certain way, strained twice on Sunday. Oh, okay. I'm done. But I just want to let it be known that just because you're ready don't mean that thing is ready. It ain't. The hot pocket could be a lukewarm pocket.
Listen, I can't. I just died.
I need you every week. I need you every week.
I know they were thinking that. They were like, man.
Yeah.
Hey, don't talk. Don't say nothing.
Sometimes bad nights is because it was bad to start, and you ain't giving me no juice to get going.
Okay, that's it.
Listen, touche. Listen, two effing Shay. Okay, then I ain't gonna even. We can't even go back and forth on that because it be like that.
I'm done. We out.
I loved it too.
That's a whole nother panel, brother. That's a whole nother panel. We're gonna discuss.
I like
after dark.
it. What can I say?
I know, right? I'm there for it.
I love that. I love that. Good addition. I got no problems with that at all. JacandGlen. What's your thoughts?
Wait, can I just laugh first? That was hilarious. Okay, I loved it. Okay, I love that. I want to say, kind of on the same lines, Vincent did have a lot to grapple with. I mean, like the whole thing, he's trying to impress this woman that he didn't meet until 8 weeks ago. He's trying to impress her. Cameras are in his face. He's trying to impress the audience. That is a lot. Like Edmund said, that's why a lot of people don't do public speaking, concerned about how they look. It had to be hard, especially when you have anxiety issues. So, I sympathize with Vincent. Poor thing. But
he signed up for it.
He did. Well, he signed up for it, but he didn't sign up necessarily for Brianna. As far as Brianna, I want to speak from a bossy person's perspective.
Oh, we got confessions? Confessions. Confessions code. No, I'm just kidding.
My cousin said, he was like, I can't believe somebody married Jackie. Like, she liked to tell everybody what to do. And I did. I still do. I like to tell people what to do. Hey, why you didn't put that up? Why you didn't do this? But you learn how to temper it. You know what I mean? When you have a husband and Vincent will have to be that type, be like, hey, you don't have to tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing. He's gonna have to be, and I saw somebody in the comments said it, and it's not predicated by your job field. It's not. Some of us little girls were bossy. If we grew up bossy, that's what happened. And being in a demanding job like that, it doesn't help. But I'm not going to say it's just because of her job. But I still like Brianna and Vincent. I think they can work. He definitely does need therapy. They need to learn how to communicate to each other. What I could appreciate, like Artika said, I think it was, he's had problems actually expressing his feelings and talking about what's going on with him. And I saw that was different from the reunion. He's able to verbalize, this is how I was feeling. This is what was going on with me. Because we all saw him shut down at the dance lesson. He just shut down. You could tell something was going on, but he just couldn't get it out. He couldn't get it out. So I can appreciate that. But I mean, I like them. I think they can work it out. I'm excited to see them on Couples Cam.
I think Couples Cam we see more of the same thing with him. I think he hasn't gotten over that yet because he likes to please her. He wants to please. I don't know if there was a video. I can't remember. It was the bonus video they showed on where he had the Valentine's Day dinner for her, and they had to celebrate Valentine's together. If you catch the end of that, he's like, "Yo, is it okay? Is it good?" Seeking for some type of approval from her, and that's where he's at. And I'm not saying to me as a man, sometimes you just got to know that what you did was right and it's cool, and it got to be that type of person with her. I think even with dealing with somebody who's bossy, since we got confessions, you have to know, you know your lanes, you know your areas. Everything's not an argument. And like Edwin said, I'm not going tit for tat. You know what I'm saying? You don't go tit for tat. You don't bring things up from past stuff. You move on and deal with it. And you handle and you execute because you understand we're 19 years in, be 20 years this year. So you deal with those things when you start having a relationship. You know how to handle. And as men, sometimes, those who've been married for a minute, you project some things that's going to happen before they even happen. You know what I'm saying? You project, okay, if I do this, this is going to happen. So you're a forward thinker. Look, I see you laughing. You ain't got to say nothing. I got you. You're projecting some things. So therefore, as you project, okay, if I do this, do that. And so now you understand your spouse. And so what Vincent has to do, he has to understand Brianna. Understand when she has those rough days. You understand when it's time to communicate, when it's time to craft the dinner, cook. Understand when it's time to make sure you got her bath running for her when she comes home, her feet up, and you make an environment nice and smooth. So they are the bossiness. They're making sure, okay, if when she comes home, she doesn't she gonna ask you why the trash ain't taken out. Just thought before she come home, make sure the trash is taken out. You know what I'm saying? Or make sure her car is filled up with gas. So just being ahead, one step ahead, will eliminate some of the bossiness that comes in his life. And so that's what he has to learn by being in marriage. Just giving somebody a cheat code, the book coming out later. All right. but you have to do those things in order so you don't have some of the issues later. I think Talisa said something too. If you want to have a good night, you got to start with the mind early in the morning. Y'all can read between the lines there later, but you start early to get what you want later.
Like the boss.
Can I just pick? I know I'm going out.
Go for it.
I just want to say, it's like chess, and I just want to disagree with what he's saying. If you play the moves all the way out, especially to the fellas, man, every move doesn't need to be played, man. Sometimes you don't even need to say nothing. You don't need to argue. You need to stress your point, because if you do this, 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 and this, you're gonna end up on the couch. Or I mean, you might as well just be like, "Baby, you know what? You're right." And she could be wrong as hell. Like, it doesn't matter, because when you play it out, you're gonna lose. Now, there's times though where you do, say what you got to say, have your discussions, whatever. But most times, and you already know, okay, the dishes should be done, this, that, and the third, feed the baby. These types of things get you a good night's sleep.
Yes.
You do it right. You know what I mean? That's all I'm gonna say. I would just want to piggyback off of that. Yeah, appreciate it.
I liked it. Good additions. Mandem, you heard what he said. Fix up. That was special for you guys, you know what I mean? All right, cool. I like that. Very good points by the panel. So I love that. Last couple we're going to talk about, obviously, I want to save the best to last, because I guess there's a lot to decipher from them. I'm sure we've all got our feelings that we felt about what was happening on the reunion. whether you've got stuff to say about Chris and Paige or Chris, whichever, there's a lot to get through, I'm sure. If you guys missed it, I'm talking about the audience, by the way. If you guys missed it, it was a very, 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 very intriguing encounter. We got to see Chris give us all sorts of BAFTA award-winning acting. We saw Paige seemingly, and I call it a trance, hypnotist. She was in a daze, locked in. She couldn't get out the cycle, chasing Chris all around the place. And Chris also had a little bit of a go at Dr. Viviana. Said he doesn't really care what she thinks, as well. That was decision day per se, but he did the same thing again with, Pastor Dwight. I don't know why I did Dr. Viviana in my head, but the same thing he did with Dr. Viviana, the exact same thing with Pastor Dwight. As soon as he was challenged, my guy decided to flare up, and then Paige got in the middle of it, due to Kevin saying get involved. So, what was your guys' thoughts on Paige and Chris? What was your guys' thoughts on Paige and Chris? Who wants to go first? Who's willing? Who wants to take a stab at this particular meet here? Everybody's looking away now.
I mean, I'll jump in there first. Yeah, I'll jump in there. I want to deal with Paige. I mean, let's deal with Chris for a minute. I mean, I think he came with as we said earlier, he came to try to make himself continue to look good.
No, continue.
To continue to look good on TV.
Continue.
Because he did it at the reunion. He did it at Decision Day, saying I apologize and everybody, trying to end the show on a good light. And so when he got to reunion day, when he got to the whole reunion situation, Chris was like, you know what, I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna answer the questions as much as I can, and I'm gonna pick and choose what I want to answer. As you meant, he was prepped. He was prepped real well because he didn't want nobody to talk about Mercedes, which he shows that he still loves Mercedes. That's a whole different dynamic in itself. He's still having sex with Paige. Yeah. We can tell that's a guarantee, right? That is still happening. They went to try to reconcile with each other, in their reconciliation they had sex. Now, which my wife told me not to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm gonna bring it in. Remember the first? Y'all remember the first season? Though they showed a clip on the show where Paige talked about sex and somebody eating her butt and all that other stuff. I guarantee you, somebody's coming back because somebody's doing something to who. I don't know who. Somebody's doing something to who, which they like the freaky deaky. We talked about Ryan and Clara, but he's coming back because something's going on, and that's what makes them keep. Because people figure out what's making Chris keep coming back. What makes Paige keep coming back? Something happened, and she kept saying the ding and go. Something keep happening to make them want to go back with each other.
Good.
Right? So something's going on there, and they showed it. I don't think they just show a clip for no reason, right? I think they showed a clip leading into something because they want us to try to figure it out. Something's happening there between those two on that end. And so you see Chris there, and then when Pastor Dwight come up,
please let me have.
Truth be told, we know we're real guys, right? If I really wanted to fight, Chris didn't walk towards Pastor Dwight; he walked out the door, right? I don't care how much he said he's from Chicago, how much he said he want to come see me. Guess what? If I want to fight you, when you're talking to a real fighter here, a real dude that grew up fighting,
it'd be like Love and Hip Hop. They have to come break us up.
I don't walk pastor or no pastor, right? If I say I'm going to see you, when I see you, there's no words, right? So he didn't even walk towards Pastor Dwight. He said, let's go in the parking lot. No, if I want to fight you, we ain't got to take it to the parking lot. We do it in the studio. And here's a new thing for it. There was no security in the studio because they was there arguing up in each other's face for so long that nobody even showed up. If there was somebody in the studio, Kevin wouldn't have told Paige to go get him. He would have called for security. So if Chris really was about that life, he would have fought Pastor Dwight right then and there. Which again, you ain't about that life, and I'm not mad. I'm not coming after you. I'm not coming to see you. Well, let's read between the lines. Right? You ain't about that life. Not because he went on that rant, but he was about that life. But you ain't about that life because if you would have fought, you wanted to see Pastor Dwight, you would have saw him right then and there. Or being a pastor or not, his office or not, whatever case may be, there was no security. It was nothing but opportunity and space. And I didn't like the fact that Kevin told Paige, because you don't never tell a woman to go get another dude when he's in rage, especially when they're not together. Like she can control him. He ain't controlling him for the last 8 weeks. How she can control him now? It's not gonna happen. I'm done. It's just I'm sorry. It's a weak brother there he didn't really want to fight.
Yeah. That's the only thing I wanted to say about the whole thing. I feel like, just like we said with the other couples, a lot, and Kevin said it as far as Chris, a lot of their answers, they were prepped beforehand. They want to give politically correct responses. But whoever prepped them, it's like prepping a witness for the witness stand. They didn't do a good job. Because whoever prepped him should have been like, I know you told them that you didn't want Pastor Dwight there, but what if he shows up? This is what you need to do. Because I agree, he wasn't really going to fight him because he didn't go that way. But my thing is, and I know I'm not trying to get too deep on Pentecost Sunday, but I was like, Chris, you lack so much maturity in the spirit. You lack maturity, because a mature saint, a mature Christian, guess what? You're not gonna make me show my tail. It says more about me when you keep pushing the buttons. And really, Pastor Dwight didn't push the button. If anything, Chris proved Pastor Dwight's point. You don't like correction. What you mean I don't like correction? What you say? Point, case in point. You don't like correction. That's that spirit. That spirit started raging, and he was like, hold on a minute. We've been found out. I cannot. When you an immature person, period, and I'm an ass saint. When you are immature, that's what happens. You act out, and you're not going to let nobody try to show you up. You're not going to talk about me, whatever. And I was just like, for me, I was disgusted by that, because that's the whole thing that we've been pushing the whole season with Chris and Paige, especially Paige. This is God ordained. God put this together. God did this. And I'm like, so God put you with a maniac? God put you with somebody that don't have the fruit of the spirit? He lacks self-control and temperance? That's what God did? Honey, no, I don't think so. So I was just disgusted, and I'm like, bruh, I know if I was his grandma, I would have been out in the parking lot ready to beat his tail. You don't go on TV and show your tail like that. I mean, he cussed that man. You cussed a preacher like that. Touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. Chris, sir.
Y'all know that boy get no beatings when he was younger. Don't even go there. That boy spoiled as I don't know what.
But yeah, we laughed too, because when Kevin said, this how I feel like Chris and Paige, they still doing they having some kind of something. When Kevin said Pastor Dwight was here, Paige looked like, oh, she looked like she wanted to calm him down already. Like, what? If I'm not dealing with you like that, I ain't trying to calm you down. I'll be like, well, I want to see what's getting ready to happen.
They had that conversation. The last point, they had that conversation. He probably told her, when I see Pastor Dwight, I'm gonna smack him. Well, I see Pastor Dwight, I'm gonna get him. And so when he showed up, she was like, like he about to go off.
Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. Good points as well, as always. You're right. I think a fighter is a fighter. If you come from the ends, the hood, the ends, whichever you call it, you know who the ones that talk, and you know the ones that fight, because they ain't no talking in between. It's get up, bang. That's what it goes on to. You know what I mean? If you're really about that life and you're about fighting, you get up, you punch, and that's it. You know what I mean? If you're gonna talk, we know that you're not really about it. You know what I'm saying? You're not really about it. So yeah, good points. Stephanie Lee, talk to us. What was your thoughts on Chris and Paige?
First of all, I want to say that Chris is not a good representation of Chicago. Okay. Your girl was born and raised there, and he loves to shout Chicago out, and he is not a good representation. So please, we volunteer him for tribute, because we don't want him. That's one. This show has done Chris such a disservice, but it's like it's twofold, because there are ratings here, and so they're getting great ratings. So his tantrums are great, but this is like this chasing Chris around and allowing him to have these tantrums and not really getting real consequences for them is why he acts the way he acts. And that was one thing that I thought about Jackie when he really got so offended. Like, being corrected was a trigger for him, and he took that personally as from one man to another challenge. First of all, he doesn't act like a grown man, but he felt so challenged. But like, correction is for people, and if you can't be corrected, that's a very dangerous character defect. That could, I mean, you can be killed or you can land yourself in jail or something, because correction is for everyone. And people are meant to evolve, and evolution doesn't happen without correction. And to be so arrogant, to not be able to take it. And he responds that way. It's not just Pastor Dwight. He responds that way everywhere. Decision day when Dr. Viviana was basically calling him to the carpet and saying, you know, I think you're here telling her what she wants to hear, and now you're telling us. He didn't like that. We saw him say, well, we're not going to give you a decision. I mean, we've seen him act out the entire season. I just hate that he's such good TV, because he really does not deserve the energy that we have given him, but he's on it and it's happening. And I always circle back to just give myself like some calm about why we're talking about him. I say, okay, well, there's tons of Paiges out here, and there's a lot of Paiges laughing at Paige, saying, I can't believe you're that. So it's like, what can we learn by watching this scenario? I felt sad for her that she was kind of put in the middle, or allowed herself to be put in the middle to kind of try to calm Chris down. That's not her job. But a lot of women do that. A lot of women take accountability for men's actions, and vice versa. But we're talking about Chris and Paige now. And that was disheartening to see, because she's not responsible for him. And once again, there's stuff happening behind the scene with them that we don't know. We know that wasn't a clean break at the end of it. So, it's just, of course I'm going to watch. Of course I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, because it's going to be interesting enough. But I definitely think that, I mean, he's the worst we've seen on this show, honestly. He is the absolute worst that we've seen on his show. And I'm hoping at this point that Paige is not really like fallen for whatever. I'm hoping that she's writing this season out and she has a higher sense of self to get through this embarrassment. Like, even playing back him saying that he wasn't attracted to her, and kind of like, of all the women in Atlanta, you brought me this, like that. I was like, that was hard for me to watch her watch it. It's like, why are we, how many times do we have to beat a dead horse here? So that is my 2 cents on Paige and Chris.
She does not like Chris.
I can't. Chris is a clown.
C stands for clown. Yeah. I feel like Chris hired a bootleg publicist before he got, like, he wanted Olivia Pope, he got Olivia Nope, or he got Huck. I mean, he got Huck, like, she's not available. Like, this is what you got, because he was like, media 101, take responsibility, make myself look bad. And then I love Kevin, because Kevin called him to the carpet, like, bro, whatever, dude. Like, you rehearsed this, and now we got deeper into it. And that was just, but he does the same thing over and over. These fake apologies, and Paige is there for it for some strange reason. The second thing, I totally agree. He does not want any smoke. He doesn't even want a lighter in the room. Like, come on, Joe. Like, if you really about that life, first of all, he gets excited about stuff that's not even really fighting stuff. Nobody even got escalated, because he did the same thing with Eric. It was just correction. It wasn't even nothing that I would even stand up and fight about. It was like, bro, you tripping. And so, but he likes to get attention. So again, listening beyond what people are saying. Chris likes attention. His parents gave it to him. And so he gets loud and he walks away. That's not anybody that really wants some action, because it would have went down. And I praise the pastor, because he has the spirit of God. I more have the wrath of God. So it would have been a different situation. Jesus is still working on me. Okay. I'm still in my walk. I'm far away, but I'm in the right direction. And I just feel like, bro, it would have been a long day. But he's just so immature. And I saw when Paige looked like, he likes that though. That's a part of the attention. He wants to be like, oh, Chris is going to get upset. who cares? He's a little child having a tantrum. I hate that we have to see all of this, and Paige has to live through it, which I can't even imagine how that is. And the last point is what did Kevin ask him? When they asked basically, are they together again? You know, like, are they still married and all this other stuff? And they said no. But I just think that the whole time it was a physical thing. And I don't think he did it to try to see if she was good. I think he did it because of her shape, and it just became a codependency, and they were just getting it in. And he was just using that as another power tool. That's my personal opinion. But anyway, I mean, I hope that they don't stay together. I just think it's a dangerous situation, but who knows? Hopefully that they stay away, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. But I'm glad it's over.
I hear that. I'm glad it's over too, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. August Louvre, talk to us about the Chris and the Paige, man. What went wrong, man? What went wrong for them?
Everything went wrong, man. From the beginning. Like, Paige was matched with Chris. That's where we started. That's where
they signed up for this show.
Yeah, they signed up for this show. Is where it went wrong. Now, yeah, like, I'm agreeing with Eric. That was one of the things I thought about too. I was like, he's walking away talking about he want to fight. Nah, we don't do that. Like, the last fight I got into, I knew I was about to fight when it was like an option. When it came up to be an option, I knew it was about ready to go down, and I was prepared. I walked forward in my walk. But he walked out the door. That's usually a telltale sign that somebody don't want to fight you. They walking away from you. Mm-hmm. And so, man, Chris didn't want them problems, man. Look at Pastor Dwight and look at Chris. Like I don't work out, but you can tell Pastor Dwight work out. I'm gonna throw something at him. I'm not gonna fight him fair because it's not a fair fight. Chris walking away, he don't want them problems, man. I feel that, like, I don't feel bad for Paige. Paige, to me, set herself up to be a big dummy, because it's like, this man has literally embarrassed you on TV for the last however long we've been watching it and however long they've been filming it. He has embarrassed, because you don't even have to watch what we saw. Only thing you have to do is go off of your experience of what happened. Like, you were there. Like, and it's like you still here protecting him. And I was like, I didn't understand that part. The baby is excited. Elmo was doing this dance and you know, and all that stuff. So forgive us and the baby. She's just excited. But yeah, Paige, man, just let this man embarrass her throughout everything and still come to this reunion wanting to protect him. Yeah, I think they're still doing it. I think that, like, they act like it. You know what I'm saying? She still know Chris and all this and all that. And then Kevin telling her, I never thought about the fact that Kevin asked her to stop them two. Like, I never thought about that until today. And I was like, dang, what did, like, obviously Chris had the space and opportunity to fight this man. And, like, what was Kevin expecting Paige to do between two men? You know, I remember one time Artika, this is the funniest thing, and then I'm done. Artika was about to get into a fight with somebody, and we was moving her, like she was moving in with me, and that means she's done. Yeah. And my friend of mine was down here helping us move, and he was like, Tommy, they finna fight. I'm like, who? Artika and another girl. I was like, so we just stood back and watched to see what was gonna happen. Because I mean, like, what? Like, we can actually stop them physically, but I'm not finna get hurt. I don't want to hurt nobody. I'm not finna get hurt. I wanted to see what they was gonna do. Like, to be honest, so it's like Paige, like, that's the only thing Paige can do is get out the way. Let these men fight if they gonna fight. They ain't got nothing to do with you, man. So I don't know, man. It's Paige looked the fool trying to stop them from fighting. She looked the fool from sitting up there protecting this dude. Chris looked crazy trying to fight Pastor Dwight, not wanting to really. Then he got on Instagram and said something like he was telling more of the story, but between Pastor Dwight and the conversation he had with Paige. And I was like, man, dude, he was saying he got mad because he went behind his back. I can understand that to a certain degree. Bro, you didn't care about that girl, man. So I don't see why you cared about them talking to each other. They say what they want to say. He protected Mercedes in that whole conversation. I was like, man, like, look, man, you trying to protect, you saying you want to protect Paige by not talking about stuff, and you want to protect Mercedes for not bringing up the Mercedes. That right there pissed me off because I wanted to know if she still had the car. Because nobody buys a person a luxury car to get from point A to point B. I don't care who you are, unless it's their wife. You know what I'm saying? I'll buy my wife anything she wants to because that's my wife. But I ain't finna buy no baby mama that I ain't finna buy my baby mama no luxury car, and I don't own a house. And nah, man, you done lost your mind, man. So I don't know, man. They infuriate me. I'm glad the season is over. I am excited to see what everybody else says to about their situation, because there's no need for them to hold back because they're not trying to protect Chris. And I think Chris left. So I don't know, man.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done, man. I'm done.
I never expected for there to actually be a fight. I didn't even think about the walking away to say meet me in the parking lot. What I was looking at was the fact that
Stop.
It would have been a funny fight to begin with the two of them. I didn't expect it to actually look like a true fight just off the rip. Like, it was, forgive me for saying this, but the mannerisms of both of them seemed too feminine for me. So it would have been a funny fight to begin with on my part. So I would have enjoyed watching that just for the sake of saying that I watched this quote unquote former pastor fight this actual pastor. But that was pretty much it with their fight situation. I really hope that Paige listens to herself and chooses herself, because that's where the problem lies with her, is that she's not choosing herself, and she just has to be able to choose herself in this situation. And I mean, Chris is gone. Chris, Pastor Dwight, that was just being brought up. Like Tommy mentioned that we did watch about 5 minutes of the live before I just got irritated with Chris. Probably got irritated before the 5 minutes, the 5 minute mark. But he essentially just said that Pastor Dwight was never his mentor, never his spiritual advisor. That was his homeboy. He can't believe his homeboy came in and met with his wife. I'm like, at the point that this man met with your wife, you had already asked this woman for a divorce. Just let it go. Like, let's be done with the whole situation. Like, I don't know why we drug this entire thing out. It was really like, it was too long for me to see all of this Chris and Paige show. Like, I'm sincerely happy that we're at the ending of this, because like, we could have seen a little bit more of some of the other couples, because they actually had like real drama going on in their relationships. But Chris and Paige was just, it was dumb drama. It's like we could have just been done with this situation at like day 4 and moved on with our lives. But for some reason, they just kept coming back for more and more and more. I wish Paige and Chris well. I hope that they both get the help that they need and the counseling that they deserve. And, you know, they can move on from there.
I hear that. Thank you very much, Tika. Talisa.
Hey.
Fire away.
Hi. So, yeah. Well, you know, the whole Pastor Dwight thing, let me just talk about that, because I really want to talk about something Paige was doing. But the whole Pastor Dwight thing, bro didn't want that smoke. Like, I looked at, even if they might be a little more effeminate. You ever seen two effeminate men fight? They go at it. Like, you can't even break that up. Like, it's really hilarious, but damage is being done. And I think that Pastor Dwight would have really, I mean, it would have been nice to see him slap him up a little bit. I'm petty and I like that, like, drama. That's what I'm watching them for. And so it would have been nice. However, when I think about Chris and Paige, well, first off, Chris and his fake apologies and his scripted, you know, this is what we're going to say. You knew that it was fake when Pastor Dwight showed up, because you got to see the real emotion of who Chris was, right? So we can negate any of the, you know, I want to repent to all of you. Excuse me, sir. Hello. The only person we repent to is God. Like, I'm sorry. What? Keep all of that because it's unnecessary. But the thing that got me, one of the things that got me about Paige. So when Kevin Frazier was directing, like, would you still be with Paige if she wanted to? Would you, right? And she was like, hold on, I need to interject because it's me. I too have a no, sis. The reason all the questions are being asked to Chris is because Chris is the one that has been dictating how your relationship goes. If what you said was of any importance, you would have done that before. So we really don't care what you say, because if he says to you right now, you know what, I want to work on it because y'all went to counseling and y'all dumbasses, excuse me, considered moving in together. Okay, like I just don't understand the logic behind her. Listen, like Stephanie said, we've all played the fool. Like, I have been a mini Paige. Paige has taken that to like a level that is off the planet. Like, I know that I have, you know, I don't deny that I have looked foolish before, but not in this respect, not in this regard. This has been taken too far for her to be constantly talking about how she's choosing herself, because honestly, that is why it's constantly being asked to Chris. So if you wanted to be with her, would you? You know, who cares what you think, Mercedes? Because you've shown us that you would be. And, you know, I didn't even get that they were still intertwined or having adult time. But now that you guys have said that, I'm going to have to do my dear Paige. I was going to give her a pass. I didn't think about, you know, the connection, the you know, oh, the look when Pastor Dwight came out, which I loved. I was here for that messy. Yeah, I'm not ready to mend that relationship. Well, here it goes. I was here for it. But I didn't think about any of that. And then the whole, oh God, when he asked her, why do you keep going back? And they both said, we don't want to talk about that our intimate relationship. I thought to myself, here's an opportunity for you to be honest and real about what's going on, not talking about, I don't want to embarrass me or my family. You should have been feeling like you were embarrassing y'all while you were doing it. This was the opportunity for you to say, you know what, I did look a little stupid. You know, the D was good. I mean, he was, you know, doing all the good, nasty, freaky stuff that I like, that we were talking about. And we probably would have been like, all right, sis, we see you. Okay, now break that tie. I didn't like the fact that she didn't, like, you didn't want to tell us. Inquiring minds want to know, and guess who's inquiring? Us and Kevin Frazier. He wanted to know too. And I was just really disappointed that she wasn't honest about that. Like, I feel like she should have just been like, yeah, listen, this ain't it. Because when you do choose yourself, you end up being accountable, right? I mean, you're accountable for your actions, the things that you do, and you say, oh, goodness, I looked foolish. And this is why I was digmatized, as Jill Scott would say. Like, I just was disappointed in her not being honest. I choose me. I'm going to choose me. You know, we're not meant to be together. Okay. So are you friends with benefits now? Like, I just am disappointed. I'm disappointed after, even if you only watched half of the season, because, you know, they said when they showed us that he called her ugly, they said that she didn't get a chance to see that. So even up until this point, all of that replaying it, even if you didn't feel like you were being foolish in the process, but what you saw from day 1, 2, 3, and he's not attracted to you, what you saw there should have made you be able to say, I was wrong. I was saying that God had sent this to me, and maybe he did so that I could learn a lesson. And the lesson that I've learned is how to choose me. I'm accountable because, you know, pressure bust pipes. I don't know. Like, it could have just gone so differently. And I feel for her and really hope that she gets help. Like, y'all went to counseling together. Did you go to counseling by yourself? Like, counseling is a thing. Did you go by yourself? Did you have your friends sit down and do an intervention? Like, what did we do to help you get to the place that you're choosing you? Like, I don't know, y'all. I'm just like, yeah, Chris, it was expected for him to act a donkey, right? But I was really hoping for something different for Paige. But why? Why was I hoping for something different? I don't know. I don't know, because she just keeps doing the same thing, and she always has. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see them on his live one day sitting up or something. I don't put it past. I don't put it past them. Okay, I don't put it past them.
I hear you on that. I think, there was a reunion was special. Like I said, I think watching it was kind of, like I said, it was exciting at parts, sad at parts. I think Paige's reactions to some of the things, and the fact that it's still wanting the therapy, still doing counseling together. I didn't understand that. No worries, Talisa, you good?
Sorry, y'all.
It's a fact she turned off her camera thinking that she thought the audio was done. She thought the thing was done. She had coughing. Oh shit!
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I thought I was muted too. Okay, I guess I wasn't. My bad. Sorry.
Oh. I'm freaking flying. Beautiful moment. Love that, Talisa. Oh, gracious. We've had some laughs tonight. Yeah, so there was some ups and some downs with Chris and Paige. I think Paige's responses were a little bit underwhelming. And the fact that obviously before even the reunion, they're trying to do counseling and stuff. I was just really like, so y'all really going to be out here trying to get counseling? You even tried to move in together. So basically what happened at the D-Day, decision day, it wasn't even your idea. You got talked into it by the production team to stop and lead this thing, and you didn't personally learn yourself because you're still in that place. So, I mean, I can only imagine what's happened now. I don't know if they're still going on behind the scenes. I'm sure they are. But yeah, it's sad to see Paige like that. Do you know what I mean? And so hopefully it's been a long one, and I can't wait for next week to be over. I'm going to be honest with you, because Chris and Paige have dragged it. They've almost made it no longer fun. They've dragged them. It's gone on too long, I think, watching them too. I think we could have, like you said, we could have watched other couples a bit more and had more, time to enjoy the other relationships develop and see how they go. But then again, I say that, it probably would have been Eric and Virginia would have been saying it's gone on for too long as well. So the way that Eric goes on, might be saying the same thing. But yes, we've come to the end of the night. So I'm going to just give everybody a minute to round up and summarize. Because obviously next week is the end. It's the end. As Boys to Men say, it's the end of the road. So Talisa, if you're okay, you're right there, darling. Just give us a quick summary. What you think. There's a quick summary. It could be anything you want. It could be how the season's gone. It could be what's going to happen next week. Whatever you feel like.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, y'all. Literally, I thought I had hit.
Oh, don't apologize.
I don't want to offend nobody, but literally, I thought ooh. Anyway, so I'm excited that the season is about to be over. I know Houston is coming up for 13, and I'm a little, nervous. What are we going to get now? It's going downhill since, we've been in a panoramic. Everything has just gotten, a little worse. And so I'm nervous about next season, but I am going to review it. However, before this season is over, I am absolutely looking forward to Jacob and Hailey. I don't understand why we had to have two parts. They could have cut out that whole part with the ladies. They could have cut half that stuff with Chris and Paige, and they could have gave us what we want, which is Hailey and Jacob. At least I know that's what I want. I'm all come on, be petty, be mean. Let's find out what the truth is, because we know that people tend to tell the truth when you start bashing me in my face. So I'm looking forward to that. I have actually enjoyed this entire season with you all. I wanted to commend Kojo on the questions that he comes up with. I'm all so are you a professional journalist? You come in and you give us these questions that we have to ask, these pointed questions that you want us to answer. And I'm actually very grateful for it. You've seen, lives and things where people are just chaos. And I'm talking about my own. It's chaos because you let people in and you just let them go. And you're oh, whatever. But I can appreciate all the effort that you put into this. And so I thank you. I honor you. Thank you. It's always wonderful to see all the fellas. Ed, listen, you bring spice, okay? Like, come through with all the spice. The fellas was lit, and I said was lit. Yes. Today, I felt it in my soul. It felt really good. And to all the beautiful ladies, I appreciate you. But I'll probably get all mushy next week, okay? I'm just, oh, one more thing. Like this live right now. I can't see how many likes, but I'm sure it's not enough. So like this live. Actually subscribe. I'm sure you're subscribed here. That's how you got, you got here. But tell your friends and then come and subscribe to us all, like all of us. And just go watch our videos. Remember, I told y'all how to do it a couple weeks ago. Just play it in the background. Just play it in the background. Nobody's gonna know. And then hit the like button. Nobody's gonna know. No, who's gonna know? Who's gonna know?
Let me see the TikTok. That's why. Talisa, appreciate you, Jack and Glenn.
Well, first I want to say, I mean, y'all might not care or whatever, but I'm gonna miss y'all next week because I have 2 engagements, so I'm not gonna be on next week. I'm so sad.
Oh. I mean, I have nobody to check me next week. I'm good.
No. Yeah. I made the mistake, unlike Artika, I'm gonna confess it. I made the mistake of looking at Chris's whole live thing. So, yeah, they strung it. He said they strung it out because he said he wasn't gonna come for day 2. Like he left, he not coming back. So that's why they try to give him, basically, you know how he said they trying to make more money off of me. So that's why it's split like it is. But yeah, I listened to that whole live. It was a mess. More foolishness. But I feel like Talisa too. I when you said that, I thought about it. I'm like, I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared for what the next season is gonna be like, based on this one. I'm hoping it'll get better, but I don't know. I think they've gone down a rabbit hole that. Because this season was overall, it was terrible. It was terrible. I'm gonna watch next season, but this season was terrible. But I did have my hand up earlier. The other thing I wanted to say real quick is my heart broke when Paige had to sit there and watch that video of him calling her ugly. I was sick, and I promise you talking about Chris and Pastor Dwight fighting, I would have knocked that joker upside his head. Absolutely. I know you didn't. I'm giving you all this good, and you called me ugly? Oh my God. Guess what you're not getting anymore, buddy. Guess what you're not getting. But anyway, that's all I had to say.
But again, it shows you who she was. She just sat there and took it. But now I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate the comments in the comment section. Yo, the chat be lit each and every week, and I want to respond to every chat like, yo, y'all don't even know what's going on in this chat, but nah, I think what it did. I have much fun here each and every week, being able to talk and conversate, and converse with you guys. It's great. Like I said, Chris again is a mess. Paige needs some self-esteem and some training. I'm ready for Jacob and Hailey to see where Jacob goes next week. And just to see how can they turn next week into 2 hours? I just want to see how they do that. I mean, just how they turn next week into 2 hours and what we get there. Like I said, I'll be here next week with no filter, so I'm excited and ready to. I'm excited and ready to go.
I'm gonna rehearse him before he come on. We gonna have some talking points for him because.
Hey, just hire the same PR people that Chris had, right? And we'll be good to go. I appreciate you guys. Make sure, like Talisa said, make sure you subscribe to all our stuff. And this is not the last time we do things together. So some things in the works. So trust me. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Appreciate Jack and Glenn. Stephanie Lee.
All right. We're almost at the end, almost at the finish line. Thank you guys for rocking with us. You guys, first of all, to me, the best part of this season has been meeting you all. Because this was a hard season. It really was. So meeting other people who are reviewing and such a great vibe and like seeing different perspectives and just having fun while doing it. The meeting of the minds has been great. And you guys who are watching with us and commenting every week, it's like sometimes I feel like I know these people just based off of their names. I feel like I'm talking to these people. I have an idea of who they are. And, oh, that's so and so. And we really appreciate you guys. And you guys have been motivating factors for us to continue to review, because everybody has busy lives. You have kids, you have work, you have extracurricular activity, you have personal goals you're working on, and sometimes it's just exhausting. So thank you guys for showing support for all of us, because that definitely motivates us to click the start button when we just want to go lay down. At least I know I want to sometimes. So don't forget to subscribe to all of our stuff, and we will see you guys next week. You want to say anything again?
A quick thing. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Lori Watkins with the super chat coming in, supporting. So just want to say thank you to her. She asked, she said that she doesn't think the Mercedes-Benz is even real, that it even exists. So in the comments, I'd like to know if you guys think was there a Mercedes or was it not? Was it, Fugazi, as we say in the D? Second thing I want to say is just a point of reference, especially just a tip that I forgot to say earlier. To guys, also to parents that may be raising a child. One thing I wanted you all to take away from a son, basically, with Chris, is there's a reason why, he has this issue with correction. It starts in the home, but there's a reason why it's called correctional facility. It's a reason why it's called correctional officer. The way men operate, you're going to get corrected by another man one way or the other. Whether it's life, military, police, yourself, another man, fight, whatever it is. So don't allow your young men or even your brothers or whatever to avoid conflict and confrontation. Allow them to go through it and learn from it, because that's the only way. The other way is you will end up somewhere where you get corrected, and it might not be pretty, or it might not be another day afterwards, because you're going to come around the wrong one. Because one day Chris going to act like he wants some smoke, and he's going to get every bit of it from somebody who just ain't got nothing to live for. So that's number two. Third thing, I want you to follow everybody. I really do want you to check out Steph, because finally I'm about to launch and relaunch my YouTube, and I'm going to launch it with her. Well, I'm going to talk about it on her show, so you guys be able to see it. We're going to be talking about the legacy dad. We're going to be talking about legacy, finance, relationships, the mental health and mental therapy for men and brothers and fathers and future fathers. So ladies, you guys can get your guys on there and watch it together. But she and I will talk about it on her show when I launch mine. So the handle and stuff, I'll give that out at that time. But it will be interesting, to say the least. So thank you all for having me, bro. You've been a great host. Awesome, brother. And I really think you're doing great things, not only on this one, but I've watched some of your other stuff. So check out some of his other work. He goes deep, and he's great at what he's doing. So I just want to say I appreciate you all for allowing me to be on here.
Thank you very much, Stephanie and Ed. I appreciate that. Appreciate that big time. August, talk to us, baby. Literally, baby. Talk to us.
First off, I want to say thank you to everybody on here, talking with us, making us like you guys have been the enjoyment of this season. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate everybody in the comments, man. They're keeping us going, like Stephanie said, and everything like that. Make sure to subscribe. I don't know if you liked the video already, but if you haven't, like it. Subscribe to all our channels. Follow us on social media. Follow us and see what we're doing, man. And we appreciate things like that. My final thoughts on this first part of the reunion is simple. I'm glad that it's over. Looking forward to the next episode. And yeah.
You know how they say some meetings at work could have been an email? That's how I felt about this first part of this reunion. It could have just been like a blog post on Lifetime's website. Let us know where we are now with everyone. And, it could have been an hour 20 tops. And I hope that there's something worth watching in this second part, and it's not just another time waster or another option to get more an option to get more ad dollars for Lifetime. I mean, I know they have to pay their bills, but geez, like, find another way. Give me something else to do. But as everybody has said, this has really been the fun part of this season, is being here with you guys on Sunday nights. I think that if I didn't have something to aspire to with it, I would have probably stopped around episode 6 or so. And so with this is at least giving us the community and let us all get together and discuss this and know that we're not alone, and knowing that this is a train wreck. So I appreciate all of you guys for that, if nothing else. And that's pretty much all I got.
Thank you very much, August Love. Guys, man, thank you so much, man. It's been another really powerful kind of live. I think we dug in deep a little bit this week as well. You know what I mean? I know there was a lot that was happening, so I really do appreciate all of you guys coming on here, sharing your time. You know, because it's also your time that you're being involved in this, and time is money, as they say. You know, so I do appreciate you guys sharing not only your time but your thoughts. And you know, audience members, I hope you guys are really enjoying the content. There's bigger and better to come. You know what I'm saying? We'll bring more stuff. You know what I'm saying? We'll bring more collaborations in the future. So I really do appreciate every single one of you: Talisa, JacandGlen, August Love, Stephanie. What's that, Ed as well? I know he's there. Really do appreciate the fact that you guys have come on here, because you guys bring a whole fresh new perspective on the show, and I think you guys have said this, and it makes watching the show that much more enjoyable and easier. Because I won't lie to you, if I'd watched it on its own this season, I would have been tired, because Chris and Paige are tiring me out, man. You know, there's only so much you can talk about manipulation and nonsense from somebody over and over again before you get bored. So honestly, you guys have brought that energy and brought a fresh new perspective, and I hope the audience have loved and enjoyed this. We had record numbers today on this particular live. We had 560 people come through. It's the biggest we had for our season. So, you know, we're looking to do more. You know what I'm saying? So as we progress, more of you will come. Please like the video, as I said, and please follow every single one of these people on here. Okay, go onto their channels, subscribe to them. They put out great content, and you will enjoy and you will learn. And that's the most important thing. So, guys, with that being said, thank you so much. We're going to see you again next week for the last episode of Married at First Sight, Season 12, the reunion. And then we break. And then, well, who knows what will happen in between that time. But I'm back here for July, because they're back again. They're not giving us much of a break. They said July, we're going to be back here again. So we'll bring out some more great collaborations for you as well in July. So stay locked in, stay loaded, and stay hydrated, people. We'll see you again next